Around 65,000 years ago, a small group of humans did something that should have been almost impossible. They built simple rafts, pushed off from the coast, and sailed into open ocean with no map, no compass, and no idea whether there was even land on the other side. If they were wrong, there was no turning back. And yet, they made it. That journey became one of the greatest survival stories in human history, and almost nobody talks about it. To understand how insane this decision actually was, you have to picture the world at the time. Even at the lowest sea levels of the last ice age, when land bridges connected many parts of the world, the journey to reach Australia still required crossing a stretch of deep, open ocean, one that couldn't be seen across. There was no visible destination, no island chain to hop between the whole way. At some point, someone looked out at open water with nothing visible on the horizon and decided to go anyway. So why would anyone do that? Scientists studying this migration point to a mix of pressure and opportunity. Populations were growing along coastlines. Resources in a given area weren't unlimited. And humans, even back then, seemed to have had a deep, restless curiosity about what might be over the horizon. Some researchers believe smoke from wildfires or storms on a distant, unseen landmass may have occasionally been visible from the coast, just enough of a hint that something was out there without ever confirming what. Making a journey like this required real technology, primitive by our standards but incredibly advanced for the time. Early rafts and simple boats were likely built by lashing together logs, bamboo, or bundled reeds, using rope made from twisted plant fibers or animal sinew. There was no design blueprint to follow. Every technique had to be tested, refined, and passed down, generation after generation, through trial, error, and probably more than a few failed attempts that we'll never know about. And this wasn't a solo journey. Evidence suggests these crossings were made by groups, possibly dozens of people at a time, along with whatever food, water, and tools they could carry. Think about what that actually meant. You're not just risking your own life, you're loading an entire small community onto handmade rafts with children, elders, and everything they own, and pushing off into open water with no guarantee any of it works. The dangers were constant. Storms could destroy a raft in minutes. Ocean currents could pull a group hundreds of miles off course, into open water with no landmarks at all. Fresh water had to somehow be carried or rationed carefully because drinking seawater accelerates dehydration rather than solving it. And there was the psychological weight of the unknown, sailing further and further from anything familiar with no idea if the decision to leave was about to end in survival or in nothing at all. And yet, they made it. Genetic and archaeological evidence shows modern humans reached Australia at least 65,000 years ago, arguably one of the earliest examples in history of a truly deliberate high-risk migration by sea. Not just wandering along a coastline, but making the calculated decision to cross open water towards something completely unconfirmed. This single crossing changed everything for the descendants of those groups. Australia was isolated from the rest of the world by that same stretch of ocean, which meant new environments, new animals, new plants, and no easy way back. Whatever knowledge, tools, and skills those early travelers carried with them had to be enough, because there was no resupply, no rescue, and no second migration wave to fall back on for tens of thousands of years. What's remarkable is how quickly humans adapted once they arrived. Within a relatively short period by evolutionary standards, communities had developed detailed knowledge of unfamiliar plants and animals, learned to navigate entirely new landscapes, and built complex social and cultural systems suited to a place nothing in their previous experience had prepared them for. The same restless curiosity that got them onto those rafts in the first place seems to have carried straight through into how they approached this brand new world. Here's the part worth sitting with. Every single person alive today whose ancestry traces back through that migration exists because a small group of humans tens of thousands of years ago looked at an endless unknown ocean and decided the risk was worth taking. Not because they knew what was on the other side, they didn't. They took the chance anyway. It's easy, looking back from today, to assume ancient humans were simply reacting to survival pressure, moving because they had no other choice. But a decision like this required something more than pure instinct. It required imagination, the ability to picture a future that didn't exist yet, and the willingness to bet everything on the idea that it might be worth finding. That instinct, imagining something that doesn't exist yet and taking a real risk to reach it, didn't disappear when the boats reached shore. It's the same instinct behind every genuinely bold decision people have made ever since. Leaving home for a new country, starting something with no guarantee it will work, exploring anything that can't be seen from where you're currently standing. So the next time you're facing a decision that feels uncertain, a risk with no clear outcome, remember this. Somewhere in your ancestry, whether directly or simply as part of the wider human story, someone once stood on a beach, looked at open water with nothing visible beyond it, and decided to go anyway. And because of that decision, an entire new chapter of human history became possible. If this blew your mind a little, hit subscribe. I post videos like this every week, and let me know in the comments. Be honest, would you have gotten on that raft?